What's up, guys? You like that music? It's getting you in the mood for a little football? I know it is for me. What's going on, guys? This is the draft results and season preview show. I am your good friend Patrick Connor, coming to you live from my apartment in Chicago, Illinois. An apartment I hope to see a lot of you at come October. Let's get planning that. But let's get down to why I'm actually here. And that is the draft results. Going to do my rankings, and then I'll do a quick little preview of week one. Jace inspired me to do this video. If you guys like it, I will do more videos. I was thinking maybe I could do them on like a weekly basis, kind of like talking about the week before, and then kind of previewing the week ahead as well. So let me know what you guys think. I'll try and get better at these videos. This first one might be rough, so be nice. Let's get right to the rankings. I pulled up my Yahoo rankings today and was interested to see their current projections. Of course, it's a computer and they're just guessing, but I'm just guessing as well, so I thought it was interesting. Ryan at the top, me too. Cass below that, Jace below him. My numbers are a little bit different. We'll definitely go over them one by one. I did kind of a ranking system where I put, before the draft, I put all the players kind of in tiers. So what I did is I ranked each player on your teams 1 through 5, added them up to see what it was. Surprisingly, a lot of people were tied, so I did have to go to bench players and then kind of my own personal opinion, who I thought was better. So it might be a little biased since, you know, I rank the players, but they're my rankings, so yeah. Let's get started at the bottom. It coincides with Yahoo and pretty much everybody else. I didn't want it to be that way, but coming in number 10 this year is the Dwayne Boners, Justin. Sorry, Justin, I honestly wanted to find a way to move you up a little bit. I think you get ragged pretty hard, and some of it not justifiably so. I don't think your team is too far behind, but unfortunately I am going to rank them 10. Love your quarterbacks, of course, the guys who can run in Cam Newton, Robert Griffin. If those guys hit their potential, there's no way you're going to get 10th because they could score some of the most points in the league, but I just don't expect them to do so. I love Demaryius Thomas. I think he's going to do well again in Denver. Peyton Manning might be spreading the ball around a little bit more, but I still think good things. Tavon Austin, I have question marks about. Denarius Moore in your starting lineup, not thrilled about. Frank Gore, past his prime. Daryl Richardson, you know, lots of question marks there. Tony Gonzalez, we all chuckled and laughed about it. You know, watch him go out and score 20 touchdowns. That'd be awesome. I do have Matt Ryan on my team. But I don't know. We'll see. We all laughed about it. You picked him too early, but he is your guy. So you got him on your team. Then you got, you know, Greg Olsen again. Not sure what to expect out of him. Might have taken him a little high. And then Ryan Matthews. The guy kills me every time I have him on my team. I like your team. They do have potential, of course, but on paper, you know, they're down at number 10. Moving on to number 9, I have our good friend FSP, Fat Steve Productions. Stevie, also known as Barry McCockiner, I have coming in at 10. He was at number 9, excuse me. He was the Super Bowl champs the year before, but I don't love his team nearly as much. Drew Brees, awesome. Peyton Manning, or Eli Manning, excuse me, I thought was a stretch. Dude's an awesome football player, but not the best fantasy player. Love Julio. Got a lot of question marks about Jordy coming off an injury. Aaron Rodgers loves to spread the ball around. Miles Austin, I wanted to pick him. You got him before I did. I'm just not thrilled about him being your number 3 wide receiver. Just not sure what to expect out of him this year. Love Forte. Expect huge things in Trestman's offense, catching the ball, running the ball. He's going to be awesome. DeMarco Murray, stay healthy. He's a good player, but that's always a question mark. Jason Witten, I think he might be past his prime. Stevie Johnson plays for a terrible team. And then Kenny Britt, kind of the same situation. Not sure what to expect out of him. Got a few questions about your team, Steve. Drew Brees, Matt Forte, those guys can carry you, but I just don't think you have enough firepower in your team. That's why I have you coming in at number 9. Number 8, another guy, you know, who I definitely wanted to rank higher because I know he puts a lot of time and effort into it, but Matthew, the learning computers, sorry, dude. It's just, I'm just not thrilled about your team. Coming in at number 8, I know Yahoo has you at number 9. You got a lot of people to prove wrong, and I hope you do. I like your quarterbacks. Matt Stafford, he's a good fantasy quarterback, not the best real-life quarterback, but a good fantasy quarterback. Tony Romo, I honestly thought about keeping him. I had him last year. I think he's going to throw the ball a ton. So as far as that goes, I think they're pretty good. I'm just not thrilled about either of them. Colston I like, Decker I like, Cecil Shorts, he has potential. Again, just nobody in that top tier, that top echelon. When we do get to running back though, Doug Martin, people are expecting huge things from. I'm not as high as maybe some other people are. I do like him. And then Steven Jackson, I'm in that same boat. You just kind of got unlucky with having some guys that I'm not thrilled about. I think Steven Jackson might be past his prime. We'll see. Jordan Cameron, Cleveland loves him. They're expecting huge things out of him. I got to see it before I believe it. Excuse me. And then we have Chris Givens in St. Louis. I know people are excited to see what he does. I'm got question marks there. Monty Ball, rookie running back. We'll see. Matt, you got a good team. I have you down at 8. You could easily move up a few slots, if not even higher. But as of right now, that's just kind of where I slotted you. Next, coming in at 7, might be a surprise to some people who did rankings already, but I have Josh at number 7, Pentakill. And that's because of your quarterbacks. I think a lot of emphasis goes into running backs in most fantasy leagues, and especially this year. But we're in a 2-quarterback league. There is a huge discrepancy in points that a quarterback can score compared to other players. So I think putting a bigger emphasis on that can be huge. Jay Cutler, I love. I hope he does great things, but we'll see. He does too many dumb things. Josh Freeman, I don't like. Good wide receivers, Larry Fitzgerald, Andre Johnson, I both think are still top-tier wide receivers, just not as good as maybe they were a couple of years ago. Hakeem Nicks, I have questions about. We'll see. Again, a good guy, a good player, but I'm just not totally sold on him yet. But your running backs are insane. Let's be honest. Adrian Peterson, Jamal Charles, Alfred Morris, yikes. You have a very strong core of running backs. I'm just not sure that they can carry you as far as 2 top-tier quarterbacks can. I could be wrong. We will see. But Josh, this year I have you coming in at number 7. Now we move on to number 6. These teams are so close. I'm splitting hairs often. But at number 6, I have Tim. And I really like the bank this year. Russell Wilson, great player. Phillip Rivers, not so sold on. Calvin Johnson, top tier. Torrey Smith, really showed potential last year. We'll see where he goes. Deshaun Jackson, I don't know. The guy can disappear for games at a time. Trent Richardson, awesome player. Just, what do we expect out of Cleveland this year? Chris Johnson, I have a ton of question marks around. I think he's a good player. And he definitely has potential. I expect a bounce back year from this year. That's why I have Tim a little bit higher. Antonio Gates, I also expect him to bounce back a little bit. I don't think he's ever going to be the player he was before, but I do expect him to have a better year this year. Antonio Brown, I expect big things out of the pit. And then Darren McFadden, I don't know. The guy's an enigma. He makes me scratch my head at times. I just don't think that you can expect much out of him this year. I would not be surprised if Tim is moving somebody else into that position by year's end. We'll see. But Tim, I have you coming in at 6. Number 5 is a team that got a lot of praise after the draft, and I like him a lot. I'm surprised he didn't end up higher on my draft. And again, I think it's the quarterback issue, and that's Cal. Cal, love you. Gotham Rogues. I think this is one of your better, if not best, drafts. I just have questions about Dalton and Schaub, right? What can they be this year? We'll see. The pluses on your team, A.J. Green, awesome. Pierre Garçon really showed flashes of brilliance last year with Robert Griffin in Washington. Victor Cruz, the guy is a real stud at times. Marshawn Lynch, awesome. LaShawn McCoy, awesome. Those 2 guys, I expect big things out of. McCoy, some people are expecting maybe a dip out of. I think he might stay the same. I don't expect a big dip. If it is, it's going to be just a little getting used to this new offense in Philadelphia. From there, Kyle Rudolph, question mark, at tight end. Ken Brell Tompkins, right? Some people really love this guy from New England. I'm not sold yet. And then Eddie Lacy. Whenever you talk about a Green Bay running back, I always have questions about that because they throw the ball so much. When's the last time Green Bay had a great running back? Amon Green? I don't know. We'll see. But Cal, I like it, and you're coming in at number 5 this year. Now we talk about the top 4. These are the teams that I expect to make the playoffs. And the number 1 team in the Yahoo rankings is my number 4 team, and that's Ryan, the Llama Drama. Colin Kaepernick is I believe why Yahoo has him ranked so high. They're talking about 800 yards rushing, 8 rushing touchdowns. Like that's crazy talk. I think if Kaepernick was to do that, he wouldn't have a head attached to his body anymore. You just can't do that in the NFL. Flacco, not totally sold on as a fantasy quarterback. Yeah, he won the Super Bowl last year, but we'll see. Love your wide receivers. Brandon Marshall, Roddy White, Wes Welker. Arian Foster, of course, one of your keepers. The guy's a stud. But after him, your running backs are real weak. You got to hope that Kaepernick and your wide receivers can carry you along with Arian Foster, because after that, your team does drop off a little bit. But names like Amendola and Dwayne Bowe in your flex positions could really turn things around for you. So that's Ryan at number 4, the Llama Drama, like his team. I think he's a playoff team, and it's a team with real potential. Moving on to number 3 is also the number 3 ranked team in the Yahoo rankings, and that's Cass, Hooked on Tronics. I know Adam really does his homework when he comes into these drafts, so it's always interesting for me to see how his drafts go. And his was interesting this year. Love Aaron Rodgers, of course, and C.J. Spiller, his keepers. Don't love Ben Roethlisberger as his other quarterback. And I have some other questions on his team, but his team is so well-rounded. He has Randall Cobb, who I think is going to be Rodgers' guy this year, and he has the quarterback throwing to him. And then Reggie Wayne. The guy just always produces. I had him last year, and I wish I could have had him this year because he's so great. I like Greg Jennings in Minnesota. Ridley, huge question mark in New England, but if he hits, it's going to be awesome. I love Lance Moore this year. I think they're expecting big things out of him in New Orleans. And then Lamar Miller. Just another great player to add on to this team. I think he's going to do awesome in Miami this year. It really rounds out Adam's team. Just good from top to bottom. I think they're pretty awesome. Adam coming in at number 3 this year. And then number 2, I have my team. They're not ranked number 1, don't worry. But as far as why maybe they come so high, they are my rankings. They are how I listed the players. So, of course, I'm going to be a little bit higher. But it's my rankings, so screw you guys. As far as why I like my team so much, I feel like I have 2 top 5 or 6 quarterbacks in Matt Ryan and Andrew Luck. Again, I love quarterbacks in our league. So I think that they're both going to have big years this year. Good wide receivers, not great. I think they'll get better when I get Josh Gordon off of IR. I like my running backs, Ray Rice, Maurice Jones-Drew, and D'Angelo Williams. Gets even stronger when Le'Veon Bell gets healthy. And then I also factored in that Gronk seems like he's getting healthy. I picked him in the 5th round. I sure hope he gets healthy. I think he's the number 1 tight end, if not number 2 behind Jimmy Graham. I expect big things out of this year, and I hope he doesn't miss too many games. Cross my fingers. But I have myself as the 2nd ranked team. It never seems to work out that way, so I'm probably wrong. But here's to me doing well this year. And then number 1, if you haven't figured it out yet, I have Jace. And again, I think it comes back to how I view our league, and I view our league as a quarterback-heavy league, and he has 2 of the best. He's got Manning, he's got Brady. I expect them to be awesome again this year. And then the rest of his team is pretty well-rounded. I like Bush a lot. I think Reggie Bush, if he stays healthy, is going to do big things in Detroit. David Wilson, I have some question marks about him, but enough people say good things about him that he really could do well. And then Jimmy Graham as your tight end. I just was talking about Gronk, but I think that those 2 guys and maybe 1 or 2 others, you can gain so many points on other teams in the tight end area. So I really like his tight end. I really like his quarterbacks. And I think the rest of his players are good enough that he's really going to surprise some people this year as far as maybe how some of the other players do to accompany those top few guys I talked about. So those are my rankings. Say what you will about them. I went off kind of a mathematical formula this year, as I said, and I ended up where I was. I had a lot of fun doing it. I love doing this kind of stuff. So as I said, let me know if you guys like these videos. I can do more. I'll run through real quick the matchups this week. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm playing Jace, who I picked is the number 1 team in the league. Unfortunately, I have to play him when I'm down a few players. So having Gronk out having Le'Veon Bell out, having Josh Gordon out, my team is significantly weaker, and I project Jace to win in a relatively close match, but I think we could watch him pull away towards the end of Sunday and into Monday. Moving on to the next game, I have the bank taking on the Gotham Rogues. That would be Cal versus Tim, of course. I like Tim in a narrow margin in this one, just because some of the matchups, I'm not going to go over all of them, but some of the players on Cal's team have some really tough matchups. In my opinion, it gives Tim a slight edge. As I said, if I do make more of these videos, I'll do more in depth as far as like matchups go, but this video is already long enough, I'm sure. So I'll just go through these real quick. Learning Computers versus Barry McCockiner. I think this is going to be a big win for whoever gets it. Both these teams are kind of down towards the lower end of my bracket, but I like Matt in this one. Again, it came down to matchups. I went through it a lot closer, on my own, but I'm going to pick Matthew by a small margin, and hopefully that will spur some wins for him in a row to start the season. From there, we have Pentakill versus Hooked Ontronics, aka Josh versus Cass. Really good matchup here. I think it's going to be really close. Yahoo has them separated by less than a point. But I expect Adam's team to be better this season, and I expect him to win this first matchup as well. And that takes us to the last one, and that's the Dwayne Boners versus Ryan, a.k.a. Llama Drama. I like this matchup. I think it's going to be closer than some might think, but I do think Ryan is going to pull away. So I'm approaching 16 minutes, 17 minutes on this video. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said, I'm going to do more of them. When you guys do have requests or something like that, I can try and work them in. But love you guys. Miss you. This season's going to be a lot of fun. And as I said, hope to see you guys in Chicago soon. And I'll come visit you guys soon as well. Peace.